Hey guys, it's Rob here. One of the guys in one of the CNC groups I admin for wanted to know how to do a type of O-ring groove on a part using a CNC router. And while there's not a real direct way to draw it or model it in most CAD software that are like Aspire that I'm looking at here, because a tool can only go up and down. It cannot do undercuts, and that's essentially what an O-ring groove is. But I have a tool. It looks like this. It's from Dremel. It's a disc with the cutting edge here. It's got the shank, and I modeled it out, or I drew it up. So this is the diameter of the cutting area, and this is the diameter of the shank. This here is looking at it on its side, so this is the shank that goes up in the spindle, and this is how much cutting area I have on this particular tool. And you can get these kind of tools all over the place. This one just has to be Dremel, and I do a lot of really small stuff in wax for jewelry, so it's what I use for when I do stuff like this. So I'm not going to do any modeling here. We're going to create this all by toolpath. So let's just go grab a circle, and I'm using Camtasia now, so I can't center anything, because if I press F9 it stops the recording. But we'll just draw a circle here. Alright, now let's just pocket that circle. Quick little pocket, good enough. We're gonna go 0.4 inches down. Now the measurements here don't really mean anything except for what these measure here in your units. So if you're used to working in metric, just say 0.4 is 0.4 millimeters. Just for sake of argument. Or 4 millimeters, I don't care. So we'll calculate that. And I think I drew that, oh yeah. Reset preview. Preview visible toolpath. Alright, so there's our part. And let's just go ahead and get rid of some of this waste material. So we'll do a profile pass. We're going to do it outside of that line. And we're going to go 0.51, because I think I set my material up at 0.5. Yep, there we go. Okay, perfect. So we will preview that visible path. Now we can get rid of this. So if we rotate this, the idea is we want to get a groove on the inside of here. Now we're not going to be able to see it in the simulations because of how we're going to cheat. But let's jump back over to 2D, and I got these grouped together. So I want you to come over here. Come over here. Damn it. Always when you're trying. So now we have to figure out how deep into the sidewall do we want this channel to go. So easiest way I know to do that is draw a line. If you need an O-ring groove, they're mostly about 60 thou deep or so. But let's just draw a line there and pick an arbitrary number. T for transform. We are going to lock this line on the left side, so any movement or any changes that we make to the length of this line is going to move outward and not go both directions. And let's just go, let's just go 0.8. What the hell? Alright, so now we have a line here, and if we don't want to do any math whatsoever, we can just take this is the circle of our cutter that I measured out, and drag it up to this line right here. Zoom way in, and if you wanted to, you could actually come to this point here and give yourself another line. So now there we go. We are on that line. So we know that that's 0.8. We can actually take this and offset it outwards. I said 0.8, but it's actually 0.08 if I do remember. Let's get those numbers right. So there's the profile that our tool will cut on, but we need the profile inside here. So how are we going to find that? And if we look, that's really close. But so now we just need to figure out the center line of our spindle. So how can we do that? It's actually pretty quick, easy, and simple. We go from here all the way out to here. And then we come in and we trim that off and that off. That gives us from this circle here that we want to cut to the center line here. We go for T for transform. And that length is 0.15. No big deal. We can come over here and draw a circle out to that line. We can offset the other one. Whatever you want. But I know this shank here is 0.125 inches or 3.175. It's an 1/8 inch shank. So if we do a cut path on this line, basically if we choose this line, do a profile, go on, so the center line of the spindle is going to run on this line here. Now we have to figure out how deep do we want to go, or how far down do we want to come in and cut this here. So let's just do half. So if it's 0.4 deep, we're going to go 0.2. But we just can't plunge in and go around because this tool is here. So what we're going to have to do is go to node. Let's say insert there. Remove. I'm used to my other software. Delete that line. Then give ourselves a nice big arc. Actually, I did that wrong. So let's back up. We will come in here and we will give ourselves from here to here a nice big arc. And let's see. And we may have to do this on 2 layers. Let's see what we get. And then from, get it really close here to here, nice big radius. And then we'll node edit that. We'll insert a node there, insert a node there, and remove that. Ah, dang it. I used my other software. Go to node editing, D for delete. So now let's join those. And this isn't the most elegant way. I'm just trying to do it really quick for a video. Move endpoints, and then come over here. Move endpoints. Then you can actually make this come all the way back down to here. And what this is this is going to be our lead in and lead out. So the way that's going to work is tool's going to be here. It's going to come in. It's going to follow that circle. It's going to come around here and come out. Just like that. So we have that. We said our cut depth is going to be 0.2. We'll do on and calculate. So there it is. Now if we preview this, and it's also good to note that I chose a 1/8 tool because that's the size shank that I have on my little cutting bit. If we preview it, we're not going to see anything. So let's go to preview visible toolpath. Doesn't look like it did anything. But by doing the math and using the software here to help us determine what the math is, we know that that cut is going to go through there. Now what happens if you want your slot to be wider? Then you just do another one instead of 0.2. This here is the thickness, so if we know that our cutting blade is 0.06 or 60 thousandths, we can just step down half of that, so go to 0.03 and calculate it again. Now we have one. Well, I didn't have this vector selected when we did that. So now if we show this and this, we rotate it, there should be just a tiny little gap between them. And hopefully you can see that. And then you just step it down till you get to the width that you need. It's a way that I learned to do a couple of my jewelry wax parts that required undercuts for pieces that slide into other pieces, and I just thought I would share it. I hope this is as clear as mud.